Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of. Oh, okay, we'll hold on 1 second, y'all. Trying to make sure. All right, we're live. Having some technical issues with Twitch, but we're live on other YouTube channels and Facebook channels. Coming up here, we talk about the Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling presents its premiere event, Bound for Glory, right here. Bound for Glory coming your way from Las Vegas. Impact Wrestling, Bound for Glory. Coming up, we have 6 championships as well as personal grudges and a new championship. And we're hearing reports that a former WWE World Champion will be coming to Impact. Who could it be? We know we got a speculation of who. All this as the Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory special here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Predict the outcome starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. Presents the Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory special. Predict the outcome special. And I'm your host, as always, Kendra Dix here. Thank you all for watching this edition, this live edition of Impact Wrestling. Normally, we don't talk about Impact Wrestling as much, but we're going to talk about it tonight because tomorrow is Bound for Glory, the Impact's premiere event, Bound for Glory. Who can remember Bound for Glory moments as 10-10-10 when Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff swerved the whole TNA Impact world on saying they was in on the chase and people didn't believe Abyss at the time, as well as AJ Styles, Sting winning the Impact World Championship from Jeff Jarrett. A whole bunch of memories will be created as it was years ago. So first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect TV. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is king. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here as we talk about the Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory. Impact's premiere event, Bound for Glory, is coming from to Las Vegas with 6 championships on the line, as well as grudge matches, as well as a new championship that many people are buzzing about and talking about in Impact Wrestling that I didn't see coming, but it is what it is. We're talking about the Digital Media Championship. Many people, if you recall, remember the Digital Media title. Impact Wrestling is going to bring the Digital Media Championship and a list of people who challenging for the championship. It's a who's who. So like I said, I guess Impact trying to keep up with AEW when they're making network titles like the TBS Championship, um, that people are buzzing about right now, the TNT Championship, the TBS title. So a lot of people are buzzing about that. They want to create their own digital media championship. By means, do what you got to do if you want to stand out or stand across. And like I said, TNT title as well. You see Miro right here. So like I said, I don't know. Um, really nobody don't stand out. We heard that Tennille Dashwood was going to be entering, but Madison Rain will be in her place. So it's a who's who. It really it's a new title, so you never know. They might put it like the 24/7 championship. Um, kudos to Impact on the digital media title. Also, too, the Call Your Shot gauntlet match been known and bound for glory. The Call Your Shot match. We found out that Chris Sabin will start as number one. He wants to be the workhorse in the Call Your Shot gauntlet match. He'll start at number one, as well as we know that W Morrissey will be at number 20, as well as his new alliance with Moose, WC Morrison and Moose. So it's a who's who, but Don't be shocked if W. Morrissey wins close to winning it, and then it'll be kind of like a couple of years ago when he did what he did. He was close to being the runner up and the greatest Royal Rumble. Speaking of WWE, had that little event in Saudi Arabia, and none other than Braun Strowman, known as WWE's Braun Strowman, but he's going to repackage himself and be called Titan because we've been hearing reports that he's been flying from Chicago to Las Vegas. So he could make a rare appearance and make his debut in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match and win it and go against WC Morrison. WC Morrison got unfinished business with, we're going to call him now, Titan. So look for Braun Strowman, now known as Titan, winning the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match. So look for that. Also, too, Heat is back. Heat. We like to say Heath Slater. He wants to be known as Heat. He is back now. He takes on Eric Young's diabolical, maniacal group, Violent by Design. Eric Young with his group, stablemates and Heat. Well, we know that Rhino was part of Violent by Design, and now Rhino is going to team up with his former championship tag team partner, the first SmackDown tag team champions. So look for Heat and Rhino to go against Violent by Design and win, and probably put themselves in contention for the tag team titles down the road. If I was them, Impact. Speaking of tag team championships, the tag team championship is on the line in a triple threat match. They like to say a three-way dance. We see the Good Brothers, the current tag team champions, defend against former tag team champions Finn Juice, um, David Finlay, and I forgot that other dude's name, but they go against Chris Bay and some other from the Bullet Club for the World Tag Team titles. And look for the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers have been dominant lately, but the Good Brothers now trying to etch their name in Impact history as one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Look for that to be a tremendous match, the kickoff Impact, the kickoff Bound for Glory. Speaking of Bound for Glory, um, the women's tag team championships will be online. The Knockouts tag team titles will be online as the Decay, Rosemary, not Rosemary, um, yeah, Rosemary, and I forgot her name. Jessica Havoc. They'll defend the Knockouts tag team titles against the up and coming tag team who's debuting Impact. The Inspiration, former WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, known as the Iconics. The Iconics making their debut in Impact, and they're going to want to make a splash. I kind of figured they was going to want to join Impact and win the Knockouts Tag Team titles. This is their chance to make their debut match on Impact, to make a debut and make an impression for them challenging Decay for the Impact Women's Knockout Tag Team titles on the line. Could the Decay defeat the Inspiration from them just coming in and making the Inspiration be a fluke? Or can the Inspiration, known as the Iconic, come in Impact and win the Impact Tag Team Champion, thus making history once again, become the first women to become the WWE and the Knockouts Tag Team Champions in their impressive resume? We'll see with the Honor Inspiration, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. I'd like to say, but that's what they're known about in WWE. I guess a lot of WWE stars are kind of competing against Impact stars. It will look like, but should be a phenomenal match. But look for the Inspiration to win and make history, becoming the first women to hold the WWE and the Knockout Impact Women's Tag Team Championships. Also, too, X Division match is on the lines in triple threat match as Steve McMill versus El Fatismo and Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel always said that his dream was to become X Division champion. He then followed his group mates MSK, they're better known as the Radicals. MSK doing well in NXT as the NXT Tag Team Champions. Um, Trey Miguel wanted to go alone, follow his own path. Now he can follow his own path by becoming X Division champion, a lifelong dream, as well as Dark Horse Steve McMillan, who's been named rough shots of late in Impact. So I'm giving this to Trey to win the X Division championship, and Steve McMillan and him battle for the X Division title going forward. Also, too, in a match that many people is all about was about respect, but now it's turned personal as the returning Mickey James comes back to become Knockouts champion. She has been Knockouts champion in an 8-year absence. She was the last. That was her last women's championship to be to date. Mickey James returned to take on Deonna Purrazzo, the Impact Knockouts champion, who's been getting rave reviews as of late. Deonna Purrazzo looking to prove a point. She even came to Mickey's house in the home invasion, trying to look for Mickey and try to attack Mickey at her own home. Mickey James didn't like that. After Mickey James returned to Impact after being released earlier this year by WWE in that spring cleaning after WrestleMania, Deonna made fun of Mickey and saying that Mickey, about when WWE fired Mickey, WWE left Mickey that plastic bag with all her belongings. Now Mickey wanted to make it personal. She can make it personal indeed with Deonna Purrazzo by taking the one thing that Deonna Purrazzo loves and most dearly and cherished, the Knockouts Championship. Look for Deonna Purrazzo to win over Mickey James. It would be a hard, good, feel good story for Mickey James to win it, but at this time, Deonna Purrazzo is on the top of her game and the top of her level as the Impact Knockouts champion. So look for Deonna Purrazzo versus Rosso to retain her women's Knockouts title. Speaking of that, we move over to the World Championship as Christian Cage defends the world title against number one contender Josh Alexander. Christian, who won the World Championship on the debut edition of AEW's Rampage. Christian beat Kenny Omega to win the AEW World title. And now Christian defends the the Impact World Championship against Josh Alexander. I just Josh Alexander, I think he's homegrown, but he's more homegrown to Scott D'Amore image of what he wants Impact to be. And nothing wrong with that, but when he was in the group, the North, I felt like he really didn't do much and didn't say as much, but he's a good wrestler. He just was kind of like the muse, but I feel like Ethan Page was more entertaining and more of a wrestler than Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander has a lot to prove. I guess Impact is looking to him to get the title off of Christian. Christian and him had their little encounter as Christian had told Josh Alexander he didn't know who he was. Josh Alexander got offended by those comments that he didn't know, that Christian didn't know who he was, and it made him more motivated than ever. We got a good look if you go on Impact's YouTube channel or in social media platform of who Josh Alexander is, and they're basically telling you he's going to win the title. Christian, relieve Christian off his duties. So Josh Alexander will win, but whoever wins that Call Your Shot Battle Royal will, hopefully Moose will get the belt by now. If it goes from there. Moose overdue, been an overdue run from Moose. I think Moose should get a world title. He been there the longest, a Moose or anybody. Really nobody else there left, but Josh Alexander, I predict will win over Christian. Christian will go on to AEW and go move forward from there. So look for that. All right, we told you what's going to happen at Impact's Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory comes your way tomorrow on pay-per-view. Even they got it on YouTube on in the Impact channel, so you can watch it any way you want to watch it. So, hey, it is what it is. But we told you the surprises. Look for Braun Strowman, aka now known as Titan, to make an appearance at Impact. and win the Call Your Shot Battle Royal. He's gonna call his shot. I wouldn't be surprised if we call it right on the show and defeat Josh Alexander for the title stuff. But it could happen. Also, too, tonight will be the SmackDown Ring Report on the Pro Wrestling Show after SmackDown immediately, whenever it be tomorrow morning. So look for that coming your way too. You drop. Look for that as we talk about highlights of Crown Jewel. We talk about these two right here, Zelina Vega and Xavier Woods, are now the new king and queens of the ring. Won that tournament, the respective tournament. We'll talk about that on the SmackDown Ring Report as highlights, as well as the new roster for SmackDown coming your way too. So, for me being Kendrick Dick saying so long, we'll see you on the SmackDown Ring Report later tomorrow. See you